Hey, RP. Good morning.
Good morning, guys. People jumping in. We appreciate it. Oh, what do we got over here? Where's all my... Hey, guys. Welcome into the show before the show. Hope everybody's doing well today on this Tuesday, July 23rd. Christy says, Eric and I say hi, drinking coffee in bed. Miss you guys. Megan says, can you guys switch things up to red in the studio at some point? Love the blue, but red would make it more Trump-like. Oh.
Yeah. Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you, but
Okay.
you can't hear me?
No,
yeah,
now I
it's
can.
the show before the show. I don't know. Red someday? See what it looks like for...
Yeah, that'd be fun to try.
You can try anything you want.
The red does, it looks good. Yeah, maybe we rebrand.
I'd have to buy some more.
Megan says she can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Bendy says good morning. Heather, good morning. Trish, good morning. Megan is in today. Oh, Megan
Morning.
says just one show.
Well, we are going to have a big red wave, right?
That's what we're hoping for.
Yep. Hi, Christy.
No, it doesn't, does it? No, we just have we just have the video you made, the edits, right? The edited video with Biden falling down the stairs and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Megan looking gorgeous as always. Vic always handsome. Thank you. Christy, Peter George, good morning. Not that big of a deal, is it? Just one show? Yeah. I would like that. The red wave that's coming. I mean, hell, I got DJT above me. We'll get into that. Guys, we love it when you guys jump in on the show before the show. Also, throughout the entire show, if you have any information, stories, things that are going on, let us know. You guys have lots of info that keep happening on a daily basis.
Joe, I'm sending you a quick message.
Why isn't that working? Oh, yeah. Newsweek says, oh, we'll get into that. I said this was going to happen yesterday, and it's already happening. It's like, okay, whatever. Regarding police. Oh my God, this is nuts. Anyway, I was just looking at some polling, Megan. It's crazy.
Which of what?
Oh, wait a second. Has there been a Joe Biden sighting? I thought he was still gone.
Wait, what?
I didn't think we had seen I thought we were still looking for Joe Biden.
I thought we were still looking for him too.
It still seems like there's plenty of people in chat still looking for him too.
Yeah, everybody's still looking for him. Oh, I got to catch up with the other parts here real quick. Boom, 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 boom. Well, that's not going to work. Sorry, guys. What am I doing here? So how have you been, Megan?
You know, I've been real good. Yeah.
You did a good show last.
Busy.
You did a good show last Friday with Lizzie.
Thanks. Yeah, we had a good time as always. There's just so much happening. That was my first time on the show since the attempted assassination. So it was kind of just a weird vibe. It's still so surreal and weird, that was able to happen.
And it's still going on.
Yeah, no answers from Kimberly Cheadle yesterday, which...
Oh, yeah, we got her on the... Yeah, there may be a way. I don't know. She'd be gone with the new president, more than likely. Even if the unthinkable happened and Donald Trump didn't win, I still think she'd be fired by
Kamala. I do too. I mean, the fact that she is saying that the buck ends with her, but absolutely zero is happening.
Hi, guys. Good to see everybody jumping in on the show. Good morning, Heather, Pete, Anthony, Cindy, Bendy. Hope everybody's doing very well today. Getting ready to get the show started. The show before the show. Appreciate everybody jumping in. What was that? Oh, that was funny.
I was pulling up Rumble.
At least Pro Joe hasn't disappeared. Hell no.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's true.
Not this Joe.
We don't need Pro Joe taking a dive somewhere. Although I think you'd take a payout and get the hell out of Dodge. I think all of us would.
Hey, Joe.
Get out.
How do on my laptop, refresh my feed?
There's a little refresh button.
It's a little, like 80% of a circle with an arrow, upper left-hand corner next to an arrow.
Oh, okay. So that's it?
The forward and back,
just like the regular refresh?
Yep.
Okay.
Roland says he did not write that. No Zoom, no video, no presidential seal, nothing. I know. We talked about that yesterday. It's all so freaking bizarre, everything that's happening. Why isn't this working? What the hell?
What are you trying to do?
Just, guys, for those who don't know, this show before the show, we just get everything ready to rock and roll. Oh, yeah. I get George Clooney's now in control of the Democratic Party. Did you know he's the head of the DNC?
Oh, I mean, that's not surprising
at
all.
If Clooney approves, then everything's fine.
That's right.
Of course he does. Mm-hmm. There's a baseball player. I love this. and it's the Cardinals. The St. Louis Cardinals. Oh, this is awesome. I got to find the video. Joe, can you find video? Alec Burleson, he's a St. Louis Cardinal, ALEC. Alec, BURLESON. He paid tribute to Trump after hitting a home run.
Did he?
Yeah, this is good stuff. And I'll try to find, then we'll get the show started here. A little bit longer today. Or allegedly. Guys, welcome into the show. Before the show, getting ready to start in just a second.
I'm not seeing any video of the actual act of him doing the home run. However, there's an interview with him.
Oh, I found it.
Okay, thank you.
I'll send it to you, buddy. Okay, Joe, we can go ahead and get the show started. Hey guys, welcome into the show. Vic Faust here today, Pro Joe alongside, and we have our friend Megan Marie Moret. Megan Marie Moret, thanks for jumping in today.
Yeah,
it is Cancel
absolutely.
This, cancelthisshow.com, Monday through Friday. You know what we do. Around 8 to 10 a.m. right now, news headlines, politics, cancel culture, education when it comes to those things. Also, interviews from all over the country. We do local, state, lots of national, obviously national stories going on all over the place today, all over the place. Hell, in this country, 2024 is insane. Seems like every week we have a new massive big story that we cover. We're going to get into all of that today. Coming up, no doubt about it, Megan, the Democratic Party is being run by Kamala. She is running for president.
Yes, she is.
And we'll talk about that. Will she stay as the president if she were to, quote, be elected? We're going to break that down, but we're also going to continue to break down Kamala because guess what? She's been hiding in the wings. You know, Biden used to be in the basement, right? Well, Biden came out. They allowed him out. Then guess who went to the basement? Kamala did. But we're not going to let you forget Kamala's scorecard because Kamala has quite the scorecard.
Oh, yes, she does.
Yeah, she can actually speak somewhat. Don't know what she's talking about all the time, but she does give interviews. Elon Musk coming out against transgender. I didn't even know he had a transgender child that he allowed to go through surgery. So it's very interesting, especially any parent that has dealt with this. It's a very difficult situation to deal with. I know some parents who were faced with that. So we'll get into what Elon is now saying. New polls. Oh yeah. New polls out. They're very liberal polls. We'll get into that. We'll see what happens with the 25th, possibly. Kamala's not talking about Joe Biden, just a lot of that stuff going on. Anything else you guys want to throw into the mix, you know what we do here. But first and foremost, I want to get into this too, because it is a weird situation. It's a sad situation because Megan's here because everybody knows that Lizzie addressed a situation on Friday that was going on with her. then we had both addressed it yesterday, and just a situation outside of cancel this. And she told me yesterday that she has received a great offer, and she wanted me to say this, that she's received another great offer, another job offer that she is moving on to, and that she is, and I'm sorry to say it, she's resigning. So she is leaving. She has left Cancel This for a year and a half. My friend busted her ass. She worked for nothing. She helped do a lot of things for us out of the goodness of her heart because she believed in what was going on here. She helped develop the platform that we have from that standpoint. So, it's one of those things where, I see the comments, and I know people, whether, and I believe in anybody and everybody being allowed to be on a chat line. I do, as long as you're not calling for somebody to be dead or calling violence for somebody or being over the top, ruthless or mean. When I went through my situation 2 years ago, I didn't block anything when we came onto the show. When we started, I was like, no, let people come on and say it to me. I believe in that. So people can come on and say whatever they want about anything. The thing that I have to remember, or I want people to remember about the whole situation is, she said, and I don't know, she didn't tell me, she just said she has a new job opportunity. And I love her, and I pray the best for her and her family because I love her family. And whether somebody liked her or didn't like her or whatever, I know how she's treated me and what she did for this place. So it's sad. The whole thing is very, very sad for me that she's stepping away and she's moving on to something else. So I hope she'll be great. And you guys are friends with her, and you'll have a chance to talk with her and reach out to her because, and if she leaves, I mean, there may be people who leave. I get it because Lizzie was a draw. But at the same point in time, she's decided to move on, and I accepted it, and I love her, and it's very uncomfortable for me to even be talking about it because I can't believe that she's gone. Peter says change is the only constant in life. That's right. You have to change to keep up with it. Now, with that in mind, I put you in a really tough situation because you're on camera. You come, I'm like, hey, can you come and fill in until we can figure out the situation? Because everybody knows Megan. Megan has been absolutely amazing. Lizzie told me yesterday if Megan comes in and is able to do more or whatever. I mean, I love Megan, and everybody loves Megan from that standpoint. So, it's frustrating that this all is where it is. And as you can see, I'm kind of hemming and hawing because I'm pretty out there with my emotions, and I leave it. I put my emotions out there, and I talk about these things. But things move on, and that's where. And I know that you're friends with Lizzie, and that you've talked with Lizzie as well.
Yeah, I second everything that you said, and wish her nothing but the best. She's a great person, and that's really all I have to say is that she is a good person, and she's going to do great no matter what she does.
Yeah, and I asked her if there was a quote or anything that she wanted me to put, and she's like, no, just tell people I got another job opportunity. Her family has encouraged her to take, and she thought it was best at this time for her to go do that. So that's where it is. That's what's going on from that standpoint. It's like I said, it's sad because I don't want my, I appreciate, and I think you guys know, I try to be loyal. I do. I believe in being loyal and being straight up, be faithful to the cause, be as honest as you possibly can. So that's where we are from that standpoint. And she was that way to me. So that's where I am. People can judge or get into whatever else that they want to do. But I will say at the end of the day, whatever anybody says about Lizzie, she did more for me from a business standpoint than, I don't know, most people I can ever think of or imagine from that standpoint. So I don't know what else to say. So I've been asked over and over and over again. So there we go. We put it out there. People can say what they want, do what they want. But I'm going to do everything I can to see, because we need somebody else in here. I can't do all of this by myself. And we have very quality people. Megan's a quality one stepping in at the last second for us today. But you also, if people know, but you're also working and helping kids. Can you remind people what you do?
So when I'm not here helping fill in, I am a court advocate for children in the foster care system. And I also work with girls that are 12 to 18 years old that are in restoration from sex trafficking. So that's where my heart is. I love politics too. And I believe that there's a lot of political issues that go hand in hand with, what's happening in our country right now, especially with human trafficking, drugs. I could go on and on. So they all tie in together, and I'm equally as passionate about all of them. But yeah, I do. I'm trying to do my part and help the so many kids that need someone to advocate for them while they're going through just a horrible situation in their life.
No, it is. And here's the thing. It is interesting because everything that you do, you hear about things, but you never know what it's like until you're in the battle. And you've been in the battle of that, and you've shared some of those instances that help with kids. And we try to bring as much as we possibly can when we put that information out there. So,
Yeah.
and the other thing is I brought this up earlier. When it comes to our chat line, the people's platform has been huge. It's been monumental. And I believe in free speech. I do. It's one of those things. I believe in free speech. And as long as people don't have to like you, they don't have to agree with you. As long as people aren't horribly disrespectful, calling names, and then going back from the standpoint of hurting others, in that standpoint, then we're fine with that. But if people go out and start, being very disrespectful or wishing harm upon people, then that's a problem where we have, with a chat line and so forth. So we want everybody to do that. And, you can give your opinions, but let's try to be as respectful as we possibly can.
And the disrespect has already started in the chat. So you're not unblockable at this point, people. I'm just saying.
Yeah. No, and you know what? I'm fine with that. It's a matter of not being, and I'm trying to do this, and I try to get a good heart and start fresh and do what we possibly can and move forward because.
Well, and I just want to say that I'm not even going to look. I don't even know what you're talking about, Joe. And so I'm just here because we have a lot to talk about in our country, and there's so much happening. So I'm not even sure what you're talking about, but I am so excited to talk about all of the craziness that's happened again in the last 48 hours.
Well, there is a lot of craziness that's going on. It's craziness, but it's real. Okay, here you go. Starting with Kamala Harris. The issue going on with Kamala now is, we talked about this yesterday. We've talked about it. Okay, the entire situation with the Democratic Party, they have been beat down for months, knowing that Joe Biden had no shot, no legitimate shot against Donald Trump, sitting there going, oh my God, this is the guy that's going to be there. Are you kidding me? Are we seriously going to have to live with Joe Biden? He's going to get crushed. And they see the Trump train rolling down the tracks. So now all of a sudden, what do? We told you this was going to happen. They unite behind a woman who has shown us nothing. And I'm not being disrespectful. What has she done? She has no record. She's never even had a vote cast for her in a prelim yet.
Yeah.
Or prelim. I mean, what? And she's now going to run for president? Do you see how she has been selected place? Okay, she is the last person standing right now. Kamala Harris is it. Last night, she received all 50 state Democratic Party chairs' votes. She is going to be your nominee. There's not going to be any sort of an open DNC. She's going to be your person now. And not only is she going to be it because George Clooney told us so.
Well, and
George Clooney's in charge of the Democratic Party, by the way, if you didn't know that yet.
Yeah. And so this party that is supposed to be of law and order, and, they've been crying that Donald Trump is anti-democratic and he's a threat to our democracy. They are doing everything anti-democratic right now. So to not have a vote, like you just said, to not have a primary. And what happened to the people that were in the primary that got pushed out? Jason Palmer, we had Dean Phillips. I know he dropped out because he was not showing, he was not getting the votes that he wanted. But there were people that went through everything that they needed to do the right way to be a Democratic candidate, and nobody's talking about them at all. And so how does this work that we all of a sudden, our president just for whatever the reason is that he's stepping down. I don't think that we're ever going to know the truth, but for whatever reason that is, and now we're just going to usher this gal in, and she's not gotten any votes. I mean, she did raise $81 million after she said that she was going to be the new candidate, but I mean that's just money. She has not gone through anything that is what it is order to be a presidential candidate.
Also, when it comes to, I wanted to say something, and we're going to continue on with this, but I just got a message. And I don't want to go back on this, but I have to just from our standpoint. And I won't look at my messages anymore, and I'll focus on the topics. I'm not allowed to talk, and I don't want to get into legal issues about anybody, okay? Anybody. So I can't go talk about something. I let the courts take care of the courts, and I take care of my business from this standpoint, and I let everybody else do that. And I'm not some evil person, and I'm not going to ever pile on anybody, because I know what it's like to have people pile on you. And I respectfully appreciate people who tune in and want to tune in. If this is for you, great. If it's not, I get it. The other thing that's interesting about people jumping on this Kamala bandwagon, you have to, I mean, it's true. $100 million in just a couple days for her, because the Democrats know they don't have anybody. This is it. You have to get behind somebody, because God, no, we can't have Donald Trump be president. There's no way in hell we could ever deal with that. So now everybody's jumping back. This is arguably one of the worst vice presidents in the history of this country. She accomplished nothing. Yeah. She didn't even go to the border. We've got sound bites with that coming up. What has she done?
Well, and the donors, all of the donations stopped coming in, trickled down after the debate. And so they were kind of at a standstill. And now all of a sudden, Kamala is just God's gift. I mean, she's just so great. The first Black woman president. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. And, just a week or two ago, 1/3 of the entire Democratic Party wanted nothing to do with Biden or Harris. Nothing to do with them. And now all of a sudden the money's coming back in. And what's going to happen is, and I cannot wait to watch this whole thing play out. All of a sudden, everyone's going to forget about Joe Biden. And it's going to be as though Kamala ran and did everything that she needed to do. And now she's just the new, president-elect. And it's going to be like nothing, like she didn't get here for any of these reasons, that, it's going to be played out like it was just part of every day. There was nothing behind it. There was no conspiracy behind it. And Joe Biden's going to be a blip in the wind. That's exactly what's going to happen. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out.
The only thing that we have to deal with now from this standpoint is sit back and watch what happens. Okay, here's the thing. Right from wrong, truth, facts, what's right. But now you're going to see the media. You're going to see all these people jump on board and try to promote Kamala as she is something amazing because they hate Trump. Not because Kamala is good, not because Kamala offers anything that's great. Only they can move on forward when it comes to the situation of, oh, she's our person. That's why. And you're already starting to see it. And then what happened today? Guess what? Here's what happened again. Kamala is now we're told that Kamala is leading in 3 national polls. Okay, we really believe that Kamala is leading in 3 national polls.
Are these the polls that Joe Biden reads? Are these those same polls? Or
the most recent national polling puts Harris in front. This was by the NPR PBS poll, NPR, which was just in the news for not having any conservative staff members. They surveyed over 1,300. They garnered 50% support compared to Trump's 49%. Really? Okay. The second national poll, ABC News. Okay. A similar picture, Harris leading Trump by 2 points. And this is before she took this over. Okay. Yeah. Like we really, really, really believe this. And then a third poll by the Ben Dixon, I'd never even heard of them, and Amandi International had Harris leading by 1%. Give me a break. There's
Fake
no way in
news.
hell. There is no way in hell. And now they're going to try to get the momentum going because this was a plan. It was all a plan from the get-go.
Yeah.
And we're not going to get into the situation when it comes to, oh, yeah, okay, we believe this is going to happen. No, this has all been a plan. It's all been a plan
Absolutely.
from the get-go. And now we're starting to see everything that's happening.
Well, and this is a point that I was thinking about yesterday, and tell me what you think. So we all know that no one cares for Kamala Harris. Everyone knows that many of the inside Democrats, they think that she's not competent. Even Nancy Pelosi was like, she'll be fine. She'll be fine as a vice president because they don't have to do anything. They don't do much. She'll be fine. We'll just let her kind of sit there and do, cackle on. So my thought is, okay, so are they going to they have to let her be up for this presidency? She's a woman of color. She's the vice president. There are so many reasons that it would look so wrong and so bad if they overlooked her. So are they going to allow her to do this, go through this process up until the time of, well, either the DNC or the voting, and let her kind of funnel herself out? Do they think that she's competent enough to even get through this process? Is this part of the plan that she's going to just kind of dig her own grave and then they're going to bring someone else in? It's just like nothing is surprising. Every day they're throwing a new wrench in the game. And so, I'm like, okay, is this another part of their plan? They know that they can't just be like, bye, Kamala, we don't want you. We're going to pull up, all of these other people. So is that a possibility? What do you think?
The possibility of who?
Well, who knows? Who knows? People are still talking about Big Mike coming in. But
Robert, from the chat line, Robert says he still doesn't think Kamala is going to be on the ticket. We're in the final days. I don't know how in the world Kamala could not be on the ticket at this point in time, because you have all the celebrities now. You have Alex Soros. We showed you the picture yesterday, and all the money, George Soros' son, of course, putting her front and center on everything when it comes to the situation of, oh, this is our woman.
Right.
And Barack Obama still hadn't put her as his guy yesterday. Not that Barack's running the party, but that means a lot.
Yeah. No, the Obamas haven't said anything. They haven't endorsed her. Clintons did. But, and to Robert's point, if she's not on the ticket, who is going to be? And is this just kind of to save face, to put her up right now? And they're getting all of the donations. People are showing up and endorsing her and sending all the money because they have nobody else to send it to.
Yeah, but why wouldn't Obama support her? What is the deal there?
I know.
I don't get that. And then Gene even said Obama won't support her. If she picks Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania or Mark Kelly from Arizona as VP, she will win. I don't know. I don't know about that. We're going to wait and see. The problem is this. How can Donald Trump be so great in a debate, so great on the campaign trail, took a bullet for democracy, as he said, literally? You can't forget. That's why as Americans, we're just like, oh, the media wants you, look, past here. Mm-hmm. There is no better candidate. There isn't even a candidate that's close to Donald Trump right now. No. Not even one. And it. There's nobody who can even stand on a stage with Donald Trump. And you talk about policy, and he has spoken specifically about all the issues and what he'll do. And it's clear as day. It's black and white. And he's a terrific speaker, a terrific orator, a comedian at that. Mm-hmm. Where's Kamala? She doesn't know anything.
No, she doesn't.
She hasn't done anything.
No.
She doesn't talk specifically about any issues except one: abortion.
Yes.
That's all she talks about.
Yeah. And they're going to demagogue that to death. If she does a debate with anyone, that's going to be her only talking point. She's not going to be able to talk about immigration. She's not going to be able to talk about the border. She's not going to be able to talk about inflation and how great they've done. She's going to try, but it's not going to work. So yeah, she's going to use abortion. And that's literally all she has. And someone mentioned earlier on the chat line that she had her laughing kind of on the down low yesterday. And it was funny because her tune, she was trying to be as serious as she possibly could, but she's a goofball. She can't help herself. She tries to talk serious for a minute or two, and then all of a sudden the antics and the hands and the talking about, this and the passage of time is the passage of time. And then all of a sudden she's gone again,
Well, from the chat line, Peter says there are 2 states that stipulate for her to be eligible to be on the ticket that Biden has to be dead or taken out of office due to being incapacitated. Would that bring up the 25th Amendment in regards to removing him before the presidency is over? This became an issue yesterday because there was a call with the White House chief of staff in regards to everybody, an all call hands on deck situation. And then what was going to happen? Oh, we see what's going to happen right now.
Mhm.
Everybody's talking. Joe Biden's not finishing this term. He's not.
No.
And when we get into this,
gosh, I don't know.
has Joe Biden even been seen?
No.
Where is Joe? We're going to get into that as well, because Kamala now is trying to take center stage. Oh, we've got polls that say she's going to beat down. No, she's not. No, she's not.
Yeah.
No, she's not. And I don't think it matters who the hell her VP is. It does not matter, in my humble opinion. Then you also talk about, she's got the money. There's money that's coming in and money that's being transferred, because all the media is now, they're going to praise her.
Oh, of
and they're
course.
only going to show happy, positive, and she'll be more reserved. I think she's going to be on her best behavior, but I still don't know how it's not her. Even another one, it's not going to be Harris, Vic.
Yeah.
Newsom, electoral roll.
Well, and to remember, and I've said this in the past, there are so many Democrats that will vote. They don't care what shows up on the day of the election in November. Literally, they will vote. You've got people like Whoopi Goldberg. She went on yesterday again on The View. People like her. She just said a week or two ago, she does not care if Biden cannot speak, if he wears a diaper, if he goes to the bathroom in his pants. She is going to vote for him. Well, now that Kamala's up, now it's just amazing. And everybody's so excited because it's the first Black female that's going to be the president, and they just know that she's going to win. And so they've completely derailed the train that they were on, this pro Biden, no matter what, we're going to stick by him. And now they're onto a new track. So it's really like, it's almost frustrating to try and keep up with what is going on day to day within this party. And it's like, okay, so is this just a brain game that they're playing with us? Or do they know what's really going to happen? Or are they just as confused as we are? Like, what's really going on? And in Joe Biden, we have not seen him. And the guy has been nonstop. They've been showing him and letting him talk for months now, nonstop. I think that's, what, put the nail in the coffin for them. But he has been on the move, and that's all KJP talks about. Look at him. He does this, he does that, which is what a president should be doing and should have been doing for the past 3.5 years. But now, has it all caught up with him? Is that why he just got the COVID virus again? Like, what is going on? And why didn't he address the American people face to face? He's been so willing to address everything, including the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. He comes on, he's in the Oval Office, he's, Mr. Friendly, we have to unify and all of these things. And he's going to step away from being the next president and going for re-election again, and can't even look at the camera and tell people that's not COVID. I'm sorry. He's been running around for the past week with no mask. He's been, going places on Air Force One. He's been out. So it's not like they can use the whole quarantine thing. They just can't.
Okay. Where is Joe? Where is Joe right now? Where the hell is Joe? This is interesting. There's been speculation that Joe Biden is in hospice care, that he's sick. This all of a sudden happened. And the other situation that we have right now is this. We still can't find him. Kamala Harris was even asked, is Joe fit to be president? She wouldn't ask.
Yeah.
Or she wouldn't talk about it, because she knows it's going to put her in a really bad spot right now. And the whole situation now is like, who's running the country?
Mm-hmm.
This is a big deal.
It is a big deal.
This is as big as it gets. And she is, I don't know. Listen to this call that happened when it came to what's going on with Gordon says, where's Joe been for 4 years? Is
Good
this
point.
AI or is this Joe? Listen to what she says, and then we'll repeat it a couple different times. Is she saying, Joe, you're on the recording instead of the call? Is that what she starts to say? Just listen to this.
Hear our president's voice. Joe, I know you're still on the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do, everybody here does.
Wow.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe. Oh, it is so.
Is that real? There's no way, and I don't think it's real. Joe, you're the master of video and editing, and
I mean, it sounds real. It could be AI on a recording. I mean,
could
that
we hear it
definitely
again?
Could be a recording, sure.
On the call, and we've been talking every day. You guys heard it from Doug's voice. We love Joe and Jill. We really do. They truly are like family to us. And we do, everybody here does.
It's mutual.
I knew you were still there. You're not going anywhere, Joe.
I'm watching you, kid. I'm watching you, kid. I love you.
I love you, Joe. Oh, it is so good to.
Boy. Greg says, Pro Joe, can you compare to the cancel this promo that Biden did? I don't know what he means by that. It's all right.
I've got it, but
I'm telling you what, that whole thing.
I keep wondering how she feels. Like she's just kind of sitting up there going, well, I guess it's got to be me, because he's stepping back from this. I wonder if she feels silly in any way.
As silly as she acts?
I mean, I don't know.
I think she's loving life right now.
I don't know. I feel like it's like she's a DEI, presidential candidate is basically how I feel. And I wonder if she feels that way. She did not earn this in any way, shape, or form. She was supposed to be the border czar. She hasn't czarred anything. She did nothing.
Well, JD Vance has called her out too. He's like, what have you done? Where is your track record? Literally, what have you done besides collect a check? She's done nothing.
No,
absolutely
she truly
nothing.
hasn't. Except for, what were you going to say,
I was
Joe?
just going to say, we do have AI of President Biden, which,
You're so good at this, Joe.
Hold on a second. Here we go.
Make sure to like, share, subscribe to Cancel This at cancelthisshow.com for more podcasts. Pause. Contact Vic or Lizzie. Chipsilusofisesti.
Oh my God.
Oh, well, that must have been in one of his sleepy moments.
Yeah.
Yes, that's
people.
For sure.
That was not Joe Biden. And they tried to play that as it being him.
Yeah, I don't know. He sounded rough. He sounded like he wasn't feeling good. And they had the other day.
I'm not saying he's been unalived, and I don't think that was him on the call. Live.
I don't know.
It's hard to say.
It could have been recorded. Who knows? But they did say, Charlie Kirk put out the other day that there was another medical emergency that Joe Biden had, and Air Force One was rerouted.
A second one?
Mm-hmm.
Because the first one, Laura Loomer reported on, and the national media ripped her, and it's like, oh yeah, Laura was right.
They had all press stand down, and then even his his immediate people that were around him, they were being asked what happened, and no one had known yet. Just like they hadn't known and were not alerted until after the announcement that Joe Biden was not going to run for re-election.
From the chat line, Kathy says, I don't think he's alive. Other people just posted the same thing that you were talking about, Megan. We're sitting here trying to figure it all out. At least we know at this point in time, you can't trust what's going on. You can't trust what's going on in the White House, and you can't trust the people who are there. Here's why. It's been a fake presidency from the get-go. Joe Biden has been non-existent. We talked about this before. The most vacation days of any president ever, the least amount of days worked, the least amount of press conferences, some of the worst results in the history of this country. And we know why. all of this crap that's going on.
Mhm.
So and then who enabled him? His wife, his son, Kamala Harris. Where's Kamala Harris been?
Yeah. Obama. He definitely did.
He's fit. He's good. This is why I don't know how Democrats can even look themselves in a mirror and be humble and honest and go, yeah, this is the best guy for the job.
Right.
Because they know that Kamala was part of this whole cover-up, which makes me think it was a plan from the get-go because she wasn't qualified. She wasn't qualified to be president. She's certainly not qualified to be vice president.
Yeah. Everyone around him is guilty of a cover-up, including, the fake news media. Mainstream media, they knew exactly what was going on. I mean, we're not rocket scientists here, and we've all known. We knew when he was running for his initial presidential election that things were not right. And we have literally, you guys have shown on this show time and time again, all of the mishaps, all of the blunders, him falling, him forgetting people. I mean, the list goes on. And so for them, everybody now to be acting surprised, it's almost like, do you look at us and you really think that we are that dumb?
Yeah, I know.
It's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling at all. And, a little part of me feels a little bit sorry for the people that have been voting Democrat for most of their lives that weren't being shown the truth. And now they're getting a little taste of it. And so, again, like I said, before the blink of an eye, all of this is going to be like just a blip. And it's going to be as though Kamala was always the president. She was always running for reelection, and everyone's just going to forget, just like they forget about all of the things that they've put Trump through unfairly over the last several years. Everybody just seems to forget,
American leadership has become weak from the chat line. Paul says, Vic, come on, by any means necessary. Never underestimate how far or how low a Democrat can go to turn the other way to get their person in. I mean, I know Democrats can say that about Republicans too, but the things that are thrown at us though now,
anything goes.
Truly, there is the deep state that we talk about. I mean, my God, this stuff is insane.
Yes.
We don't even know where the president is. I mean, I thought it was bad when we didn't know where the Secretary of Defense, Lloyd Austin, was.
Yes.
And then he just all of a sudden I just checked myself into hospital. I didn't think I'd tell anybody.
Yeah. And look at all the slack that he got for that. I mean, he got a lot of slack for not telling anybody that he was checking himself into a hospital. And here we are. We have zero clue what is really going on with Joe Biden. And the guy didn't even give a reason. I'm not going to win. And I want to be fair to the Democratic Party. I'm not going to win. Really? Is that how we do things now? So if you're in a football game and it's halftime and you're losing, do you just walk off and be like, hey, this isn't looking good for us. I'm done. I'm out. That's not how you play the game. And so it is so blatantly obvious that it is not because he had a second wind of, oh, you know what? Maybe I should back down. The guy has been saying that unless the good Lord above comes down and takes him or tells him that he can't run, that he's going to run. And now mysteriously, all of a sudden, he's like, I got to do what's best for the Democratic Party. I mean, give me a break.
Never, ever, ever in the history of this country have we seen something like this happen.
No. And
we just haven't.
And I feel like it would have been better for him to have been able to say, look, you know what? I'm just not feeling up to it. I want to spend some time with my family. I get run down. I like to go to bed at 8:00. I like to have my lye soup for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And I just want to take it easy. I think that would have been better for him and better for his legacy to have said that than to be like, it's not looking so hot for me against, Trump. He's almost just killed and it's still not looking good for me. So I'm going to go ahead and pass the baton.
It is interesting. Peter from the chat line said, and I did see this video at one point in time, 3.5 years ago, Biden said that he would probably leave office early from a disease or something of that nature. And here, and we're watching, and Joe's all over the conspiracy theories a lot. Joe, did you ever hear that one? And now it seems like it's coming true where Biden predicted how he would leave office and it looks eerily similar to what he's doing now.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
It is so damn bizarre. day after day, just because we think it won't stop, and it continues to move over and over and over again. We continue to see these things happening.
Yeah.
I'm still waiting to see aliens, man, because anything's possible at this point.
What happened to
Of course.
aliens?
God, I wish they would come down and take a few of these bozos with them back up to wherever they came from. Hey, Jay, what were you saying? Jay just said that he's 100% convinced that something happened. What do you think happened? Because now I'm starting to wonder too, like, did something more happen and we just don't know? I'm sure that there is, but I mean, just the conspiracy theories behind what happened to him, and just even the shooter, that tried to take Trump out. There's all of these conspiracy theories coming out about that too. So I just don't know. I don't know what to believe anymore. It gives me a headache thinking about it, truly. And then Kevin, I agree with you 100%. The Democrats have zero consequences for anything that they do. Never. I mean, again, going back to all of these charges that have been, against Trump over the last couple years, and they were just so blatantly misused, and they will never ever pay for anything that they've done. Never. The Alvin Braggs, I mean, all of it. They'll never. Letitia James, Fonnie Willis. I mean, it's just one big game to them, and they just keep going and going and going with no consequence.
The leader of the free world can't hide in his basement. We are at risk, and he needs the 25th invoked. The rumors, by the way, from hospice, which we were talking about earlier, the global press, by the way, accurately predicted that Biden was dropping out 2 days before he did, citing, quote, an unconfirmed source close to Biden. So keep that in mind. That is the global press. And they're also reporting that he's in hospice. Like he was literally on his last breaths. They got everything out of that body, if that is the truth. And then all of a sudden, can you imagine, God forbid, Joe Biden stops breathing. And then in the midst of this election, what does that do for the Democrats? Does we rally around the Democrats? We rally around Joe. He gave everything. I mean, that I see that stuff. I mean, and in using it as I don't know, would that be positive, negative? I mean, literally, if he's in hospice, this is the president.
Yeah.
So Kamala takes over, and then she becomes president before the election.
Well, and there's a lot. It's interesting too, because there are a lot of Democrats that are still saying, I cannot believe you walked away from this man. I cannot believe that you're not going to support him all the way up until the election. Look at everything he's done for us. There are still these stronghold people that are 110% devoted to this man. And they think that what the rest of the Democratic Party, including, his cabinet members, Congress, they think that it's just disgraceful what they have done. And I can appreciate that sentiment, because there is a devotion when, especially, I mean, these donors that have been giving to his campaign. I mean, so when you're doing it financially, but then there's just also this respect that they have come to know for Joe Biden, and they are truly disheartened that people can walk away. But I think that what we really, really have to remember is that he is not capable or competent to be running our country right now. That's the bottom line. It's not whether you like him or not, or whether you think that he's, doing a good job or not, or whether you're ticked off about inflation. He's ill.
Glenn from the chat line, they have to cover for Biden because Johnson will be the vice president, the Speaker of the House.
Oh boy.
Mike Johnson,
wow,
because he's number 3.
There.
He would be number 2, but why would you have to cover for Biden if Johnson would be the VP? Oh, because they don't want him to go through. They don't want Johnson to be the VP. You'd have
right.
You'd have Kamala right now, and then Mike Johnson. My God, that is so crazy. The things that we think about right now. I hate hearing this. Jeannie says, "What a perfect storm to invade America."
Yeah.
3 out of 4 voters wanted a new candidate. Yeah, I know. But at the same point in time, oh my God, Jill. Oh, I just missed it. We have so many comments that are coming through. Joe, I don't know if you can pop up Jill's comment. I'm trying to go back to find it. because it's the comments are coming in so fast today, and we knew it would be because it's that point in time.
Yeah. So were you Jill's comment if they make that one? Okay, you got it.
Yeah, if they make her president before the election, which I think they will, and I agree, I think the real okay to watch is who she makes her VP, because after the election, they can then make her disappear and poof, showing the new president. I mean, okay.
And that's what I mean.
But just think how bizarre we can actually see that happening. That's where we are in 2024.
How much can the Democratic Party take, though? I mean, can they literally take another circus? I mean, everything that has been happening for the past month has been nothing but a circus. Will the Democrats still have respect for their party if they go through this whole thing right now and they put someone in that didn't even earn it, didn't even go through a primary, none of it, and then she's up for election, and then they pull her, put the Veep up? I mean, how incredible and just ridiculous would that be at the same time for our country?
Jay says even Jill's disappeared. I know. Mm-hmm. It's all happening right now. Heather says that is what they'll do. They are evil. They will stop at nothing to keep Trump out. Doesn't matter what they have to do. They're going to do it. They're going to continue to throw things into the mix and do whatever they can to keep Trump away from the White House, which is what we said. Vivek said when he came out and started talking about all this stuff months ago. Yeah. I don't know, man.
Well, and I think that Jill's gone because Joe's been gone. So I think what they're doing is they're kind of doing this whole little sunset thing. So they weren't going to let him go. Just, he's been doing all these interviews. It's not like they're going to let him sit down, do a big interview with someone, and then the next day be like, oh, you know what? I decided actually it's not in the best interest of our country if I run. So they've put him kind of out to the sunset for a little bit. Everybody's quiet. And now, Jill, I'm sure, is just mad as hell. I mean, I'm sure that she's humiliated because, again, she's been out there too, being his second voice, saying he's ready. He gets up every day. He puts on his pants, his big boy pants, and he's here to serve you. And he's here to do what the country needs. He even hears all the questions and answers them correctly. It might take him 5 minutes to answer one question, but he hears. So I'm sure that she's a little bit humiliated too. So I think that they're going to, again, make this announcement, let the dust settle, and then come out presidential as ever and act like it's no big deal. Like this was the plan all along. I do. I think that that's what's going to happen. And it'll be interesting to see, though, what their next move is. He just said yesterday, Joe Biden said yesterday, hey, man, I've still got 6 months left to be a president. I'm here. I'm going to be out and about. I'm going to be doing what I've been doing. I'm going to be serving you.
When did he say that?
He said it yesterday when he was on.
Oh, the fake call me?
On the fake call with
that was fake.
Kamala.
I'm telling you, it was fake. There's no way that was him.
Yeah, well, he did. He said that he has 6 more months. And I was like, oh, okay. So here we go again. It's like, was that Joe saying that, or was that someone prompting Joe to say that?
Damn.
So, what's next? And it's not fair to our country. If he's not fit for re-election, then he should not be in charge of us right now. Even though we know that, it's Jake Sullivan and all the other people that are really.
We got to find out what the hell's going on. I mean, this is an unprecedented time in our country right now. And you have Kamala Harris and the Democrats are not even they're celebrating Kamala Harris. Where the hell is the president? And I don't care if he pops open today all of a sudden. We're talking about 3-4 days. What the hell is going on?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Donna.
Nobody's talking.
Yeah, Donna's saying that Cammie was put in his place to be the first female Black president. And again,
person of color.
Right. And that would be historical. That would be a historical event. But again, the Dems don't care for her. They do not like her. And she has not earned it. And they have no problem saying it themselves. So I don't know.
Oh my God. Nothing is impossible from Greg. Even Tom Clancy has a book where Jack Ryan becomes president. Anything is possible.
Yeah.
And we all know that movies kind of predict things and show us in advance what can happen.
Well, anything is possible. Anything like a 20-year-old kid running around in camo for an hour before the President Trump goes to speak in front of thousands of people, and everyone there saw him except for the Secret Service. I mean, so anything can happen.
From the chat line, I don't remember this, but I'll take you at face value. When Trump had COVID, we heard from him every day.
Yes, we did. Yeah. Well, and we heard from him 5 seconds after he was shot. So,
well, they'll just know what the plan in place. When we showed you the picture yesterday of Alex Soros, the son of George, who is now in charge, promoting Kamala, you had to believe that's the pick. I know there are people who don't believe that she'll be on the ticket. And I also don't believe it'll be that easy to, quote, unalive her or remove her if, in fact, she was able to run and win. I just don't think that would happen. Okay, they're going to focus on all easy things because we know she can't have a conversation on policy. She's not intelligent enough. That's what she has shown us. And there's nothing wrong to say that. She does not know how to run a business. She does not know how to run a country. Mm-hmm. She was just a week ago, one, if not one of the two most unpopular vice presidents in the history of the country. But all of a sudden, because Democrats hate Trump, and remember all these Democrats were telling us, oh, Biden's going to destroy Trump.
Oh, yeah.
And you know who you are if you're listening. And there were people, Biden's going to do that. I have so many messages. Biden's the man. Biden's the man. You guys were stupid. I'm sorry. And then now Biden's going, oh, Kamala's the man. Oh, yeah, she's going to do this and do. No. Mm-hmm. She's not. She's not popular. The media is going to tell you she is. She can't stand on a stage with Donald Trump and even hold a conversation.
No, that is what I am hoping for. I hope that, hey, since she's the new candidate, that they
another debate.
Keep that October date or September for a debate. Oh my gosh, I think that would be absolutely priceless. And there's no way though that they'll let her do that. Do you think?
I don't know. I doubt it. I very seriously doubt it. But they've been planning for this for a while.
Yeah.
Why do you think she was able to basically stick her middle finger up at Joe Biden when he tasked her with overlooking the border? And she didn't do a damn thing with the border.
Yeah.
She basically said, F it. And keep in mind all those times. Remember all the times that Joe Biden referred to her as the president?
Oh,
we ran at least 4 or 5. Do you remember all that, Joe? It was like 4, 5, 6 times. Mm-hmm. And the president of the United States. I'm like, what did he just say? Joe Biden was calling her the president several times in public.
Yeah. He's accidentally told us a lot of truths.
Yeah, exactly. Except for Trump is not his vice president. That is not true.
Right.
Remember, he just said that a couple weeks ago.
He did. Yeah, he did.
Vice President Trump.
Oh my gosh.
Well, Kamala has to go through a debate with JD first. Let's see what happened, or at least that's what that was. Okay, maybe that was supposed to happen, but now
I know,
because
now what?
She's gonna take over. I don't know. From the chat line, I'd be curious to get people's opinion because people are like, nope, they'll announce he's unalived a day before the election or 2 days before the election.
Yeah. Well, and the interesting thing too is, Biden came out after the assassination attempt and said, we have to unify and we have to watch our rhetoric and we have to watch what we're saying and we have to keep the temperature low and, everything, it's just, everything
BS.
Political is volatile. And yesterday, Kamala Harris had no problem talking about Trump being a sexual predator, a fraudster, and a thief. So she made sure that she spoke on those 3 points yesterday.
Yeah, I think we might, and we have sound where she is trying, and this is more of what you're going to hear from Kamala Harris, whether you like her or not. We talk about facts here. We talk about facts first, not feelings, facts and first. I mean, Kamala came out yesterday at a press conference talking about who she is and what she is.
So in the days and weeks ahead, I, together with you, will do everything in my power to unite our Democratic Party, to unite our nation, and to win this election. As many of you know, before I was elected as Vice President, before I was elected as United States Senator, I was the elected Attorney General, as I've mentioned, of California, and before that I was a courtroom prosecutor. In those roles, I took on perpetrators of all kinds. Predators who abused women. Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type.
Okay, conservatives may not want to hear it, but once again, that's what you're going to start to hear more of, and you're going to start to see more of that and attacks. And here's the other interesting thing, and I don't think it's fair. She can go after Donald Trump like that, but if Donald Trump goes after her like that, does he become negative to maybe women or independents? But I don't know if there's really that many independents. I don't know.
Well, he has to watch his tone. So it's going to be different now because guys can say different things to guys. He cannot say anything or they are going to keep
So a double
continuing.
standard. So you think it would be
Absolutely.
played?
He's going to be racist for sure because she's a woman of color. He's going to hate women because she's a woman. And they are just going to, the fascist comments, every word that they have been trying to use and put in the dictionary for the last couple of years, they are going to start throwing. She's already slinging it. He's already, the sexual predator, and things of that nature. And, it's just so unfair. Well, number one, because they said that they weren't going to do that. Now, these are things. So if you're going to say that he's a sexual predator and that he's a thief and all these things, if you're not trying to stoke the fire, I don't know what you're trying to do. And she tried to talk about the 34 felonies brought against him. So I hope that for Trump's sake that those 34 felonies get overturned too, because we have got to, start taking away the ammunition that they're using towards him, because none of it's I'm not going to say none of it. I don't know that for a fact. Most of it is not true. And so I think that it's really unfair that she's going to use that. And I hope truly, I think he's done such a good job of being measured and having self-control.
Yeah, to this point in time,
exactly.
There's no doubt.
So I really hope that he doesn't choose to go back to that kind of kids play. You say this to me, I'm going to throw back at you. I think that the best thing that he can do right now is be quiet, sit back, and let the spotlight be on this continual circus show of the Democratic Party, and just be the bigger person and just sit back and let it all, play out, because they're the ones that are making themselves look completely ridiculous.
Well, I think this new Trump, we have seen a more measured, quiet, not in your face guy. Now, every now and then he'll still say something, but Donald Trump is different. And he's been very quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as I saw a chat from the chat line earlier, uncharacteristically quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe having your life flash before your eyes might do that as well.
Yeah.
Or maybe he's just talked out from a 90-minute convention speech.
Yeah, that's
which
true.
was a massively long speech.
Yeah, that was maybe a few minutes too long.
From the chat line, he needs to stick to the topics. I agree.
Yes,
stick to the topics and see what happens, because you're Donald Trump. You have policy on your side. You have history on your side. You've done the job. You've succeeded at the job. The media and every sort of outlet is going to be all over Kamala Harris right now. Media darling, media darling, media darling, because they knew how dark and with despair Joe Biden was. They knew that everything was so bad, but they also had this planned. It was planned. This was not by accident. Once again, he did not do a debate a whole month earlier before they've ever done a debate before.
Right.
And I didn't believe it until Vivek said it. It was a plan.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Biden was a terrible president, yet most Democrats still were talking how great he was. That's why most Democrats are fake too. They're just fake when it comes to talking politics, because they knew what he was. But instead of giving credit to Trump or taking away from Biden, like, oh no, he was great. Mm-hmm. And Kamala Harris, once again, somebody show me what she has done. Nothing.
Well, and did you notice yesterday she's talked about every single little thing that she did maybe kind of right. She wanted to make sure that she put that out there yesterday, that she, got $20 billion, given back to the people of California from someone that stole it from her, and you have to remember, and I'm sure Trump will point this out if he does get the opportunity to debate her, that, she was voted in to her previous, positions by a hair. I mean, she barely was voted in, AG and all of the other things that she did. So it's not like she was on top of her game, which makes me wonder, how in the heck did Joe Biden come, along with picking her in the first place?
He didn't.
Yeah, well,
He
exactly.
didn't. Jill Biden basically told us they didn't they did not.
Yeah.
She called him racist before he was even picked.
Yeah.
Which he is. She wasn't lying. He was racist, but then of course all the Democrats don't want to say that. Racist.
Yeah.
He was. So they didn't like it. Jill Biden did not. We're going to hear more and more as information comes out. They are not friends. They did not like each other. They were never around each other.
Yeah, never. And
I mean, not really.
Yeah, and she's trying to act like they're, best friends, and that her and her husband are best friends with Jill and Joe and all of these other things. So yeah, as much as I do want Trump to just be cool, if debate, presents itself, then I do think that would be an opportune time for him to say, well, you want to keep talking about all of these things, but really, this is what really happened. Let's tell the American people what really happened. We all know that she's got nothing on Trump. His entire closet has been emptied time and time again. That guy's got no bones left in his
This isn't
closet.
even a competition.
Yeah.
No, this is a Hall of Famer against a wannabe
Rookie
college athlete. I mean, that's where we are from this. It's all about the hype. It's all about the media machine. It'll be all about putting her on all of the networks and interviews and promoting, and only getting into surface issues and not talking about the drastic problems that this country has right now, and not talking about what she didn't do. Remember this interview. We talk about scorecards so much. Here's Kamala Harris getting grilled basically on the border. Her one job from the get-go was the border, and she didn't do it. She was nowhere to be found. AWOL, incomplete. Remember this interview with
Put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any plans to visit the border?
At some point, we are going to the border. We've been to the border. So this whole thing about the border, we've been to the border. We've been to the border.
You haven't been to the border.
And I haven't been to Europe. And I mean, I don't understand the point that you're making. I'm not discounting the importance of the border.
Well, put a button.
Okay.
Do you have any?
Yeah, how about that?
I love watching this clip because I think it is so funny. I think that she is just such a bozo during this interview. She has no clue what to say, and she couldn't even come up with anything that was like even half good as a response and to Lester Holt of all people,
And that could be our next president.
Well, yeah, and it is. I mean, it's scary. And, she can't talk about policy. That's the one thing, too. She literally cannot talk policy. I'm going to give her abortion, women's, rights and things like that. But that's really her only strong talking point. And the fact that they have completely, I'm not trying to get off topic here, but the fact that they have completely turned their back on Netanyahu and Israel, I can't help but think back to October, November, December, how many times we heard Joe Biden and Kamala Harris say our stance and our, we are standing strong and it's unwavering with Israel. I mean, over and over and over again. I think that people need to remember that. And as we know, there are a lot of Jewish people that are Democrats. And I just can't help but think, are you rethinking this? Are you really rethinking what party that you're going to stand with? Because they lied. They completely lied.
Well, it is interesting. I want to bring this up with Kamala too, as people try to remember this video. I just want people to remember who Kamala stood next to. She literally stood next to two known Islamic Republic propagandists from the NIAC. And this is not pro-America. It's not a pro-human rights or even pro-Muslim. Harris's record on Iran is abysmal, and she is terrible on foreign policy. She's involved in the Ukraine mess. She was a lawyer for Burisma, and here she is. We'll play some of that video for you.
We know what it means to fight for our country and fight for our ideals and fight against those who would challenge who we are, but we are here to stand to say we are always going to fight for this country and our ideals, and we will fight against racism. We will fight against anti-Muslim rhetoric. We will fight against all those who would marginalize who we are as a community. We will not stand for this. We believe in who we can be as a country, and we are going to fight for ourselves. We are going to fight for our Muslim brothers and sisters. We are going to fight for our immigrant brothers and sisters, because they and we are what makes this country great. We know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I mean, right there, that just piggybacks off of what I just said. Who are they for? And, being a leader of America, you need to be for everyone. You do need to be for the Muslims. You do need to be for the Jews. You do need to be for the Christians, the Protestants. You need to be for everyone. But when you, in one breath, say that you're going to stand by Israel, and then you turn around and you're out hooting and hollering about, wanting to protect the Muslims, they need to figure out what side of the street that they're on. And, it's sad because I think that we pay attention to these things, but so many people do not. And they're able to talk out of all sides of their mouth, just depending on who they're standing in front of. And they're able to gain votes, just like the Democrats did with the Black community for years and years and years. They went to those communities. They told them what they wanted to hear. They did nothing. They did not actually do what they said that they were going to do. And they continued to get the votes. And the Black communities are now waking up.
Somebody wanted me to pop this up, and I will, Joe, I'll send it to you. But in the meantime, if we could, Joe, we talk about our things planned. We talk about The Simpsons, and I'm sure people have seen this picture. If you haven't, Megan, check this out. This was on an episode. I can't remember what episode it was. Is this The Simpsons telling us something that could possibly happen?
Oh my goodness.
For our listeners on the podcast,
sure looks like it.
We are showing The Simpsons, and it's on the tip of my tongue. What's her name again?
Lisa.
Lisa becomes president of the United States in a very eerily similar outfit.
The necklace, the earrings,
to Kamala
the color,
Harris.
the color of the jacket.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That
I mean, I think that she'd be better. She'd be better than Kamala. That's for sure.
What do people think about that Simpsons? That it's all planned, selected? Is Donald Trump going to be the selected?
Gosh. Donald Trump's going to be the elected.
Well, that's what we hope.
Yes. Well, we just need to keep hoping, because we are watching desperation at its best right now. We are watching mind games literally play out in front of us. And it just goes to show that they'll do anything. They will do anything to make sure that Donald Trump does not get into office. And that is such a scary thought. I mean, it truly is. And I cannot wait to hear what, more comes out about this 20-year-old shooter that tried to take Trump out. I was listening to a gentleman on Tucker yesterday, and there's a lot of things that they're not saying. That there's all kinds of different things that they're finding on this kid's phone. Encrypted messages. Random phone numbers, just all sorts of different things. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but again, with the desperation, you think back, a perfect example is JFK back in 1963, when that happened.
We're watching a movie.
Totally.
Megan, we are watching a movie, and it's not a good one for us, because it's how much are Americans going to allow? What can we actually do? Get the information out there. She does. She talks in circles.
I've been saying it for weeks. We're watching the season or the actual series finale of the United States.
Well, yeah, and I totally agree with that. And what I really hope is that we have seen that God has been on our side and has been on, Donald Trump's side. So what I'm hoping is that in November, he continues to grace us and we can start a new chapter and maybe even start over. I think that that would be,
Well, there's so
what we
much
need to
going
hope
on.
for.
Oh, Russia is watching.
Heck yeah. And
The
China,
entire- the-
Iran,
And they've
all of
known.
them.
Everybody has known about this, that world
Mhm.
order. We've talked about it too. It doesn't get as talked about as much when it comes to the deep state. But yeah, these things are happening in our country right now.
Mhm.
And who better than to have somebody like Kamala Harris sit there, even if it's not her? I don't see how she's not the nominee. The entire Democratic Party is now for her. There's no way. There's
Well,
no way she's not the nominee. She just and is going to run for president.
well, she has to be their nominee because that's all they have right now. They know that things are going down. They're going downhill fast. So they need to look half united. I mean, if they don't, they know how bad they look right now. They know that they look completely, scattered. Their inner party is just, crumbling at the seam, and they know that they need to get behind somebody. I'm waiting for the Obamas though. I think that that's gonna be, the true teller for me is when they say that we are endorsing her, that I think that they're gonna have all of their minions that are gonna be right there behind them as well. And then we're just gonna have to see what happens.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust. We have Megan Marie Moret on with us, Projo in the house as well. Special thanks to our advertisers and sponsors. And if you're interested in anything, give me a message at vic@cancelthisshow.com if you know of anybody that wants to get behind the show as well. Complete Auto Body Repair. Once again, Complete Auto Body Repair, Curtis Barks and crew. Jumping in, you're not going to find a better place to get your vehicle fixed. 5 locations throughout the St. Louis metropolitan area. You can contact them at completeab.com, but let them know you're from the Cancel This crew so they will know and they appreciate the information and all of the advertising they do with us. They'll know that their word is getting out because you guys are terrific customers. 314-731-7999. Once again, Complete Auto Body Repair. They've also got tons of jobs available. They're a massive company. They own tow truck companies as well. You can work not only with the vehicles and in the mechanics world, but you can also work in the sales world. You can work in HR. So many jobs open, terrific place to work for, completeab.com. If you've been injured in any sort of way, you need to call one person. You can call whoever you want, but before you do, you have to call David Gregory. He is a conservative injury lawyer. You can reach him at the conservativeinjurylawyer.com, conservativeinjurylawyer.com. If it's a car accident, a motorcycle accident, trucking accident, any sort of issue when it comes to your conservative issues being violated, freedoms being violated, being just an American being violated, Dave is the guy. He helped me twice. I talked to other people, went to Dave, and he said, if you mention Cancel This, he's going to knock the percentage off what his company brings in and give it back to you. That means more money for you in regards to whatever happened. He works quick. Joe went to him. He's worked quick with Joe. His team is absolutely amazing. And by the way, the thing that I always love promoting is the fact that he is 7 for 7 or was 7 for 7 when it came to protecting people's jobs when they didn't want to get that cupcake in their arm, as we refer to it. 7 for 7 when it came from that standpoint. Special thanks to WeQuipUSA.com, WeQuipUSA.com, the best site when it comes to connecting you with others to rent products. You don't have time to buy something. You don't have money. You need it for this. You need it for that. Check out the website. So many interesting and cool things that you can rent. Or if you want to rent your own items out, make a little cash, you can do it at WeQuipUSA.com as well. If you're going to buy charcoal, buy from Jonathan Heslip. Not only does he support this show, he supports conservative causes all over America. It's Rockwood. It's the #1 charcoal in America, and it's made in Missouri. That's where the best charcoal is made. No additives. It literally breaks apart your hand because we have the vegetation and the trees in the south of Missouri that make the best charcoal. And Capriati's, one of the best new sandwich shops you're going to find anywhere. It's in Rock Hill. They really, really, really excel at the catering. Check out their catering for any business that you have. And the sandwiches are absolutely amazing. We've showed you the sandwiches. Joe, I promise you he's going to be bringing some food in for you before too long. Also,
I'm waiting.
Winties in the Chesterfield Valley and Defiance. Excuse us, longtime supporters of our show from the beginning. You've got some of the best food you're going to find, drinks, entertainment. They are there for you. I went over to Winties last night, caught up with my friend Ben. They're just going to, some of the best memories are created there. 7 different people will tell you 7 favorite different foods that they have. Joe loves their ranch. Their ranch is some of the best you're going to find. I don't even know. You took ranch home, right?
Yeah, they actually gave me the container that they used in the kitchen, like to squirt it in cups or squirt it
Yeah.
on stuff. They literally filled it up and then gave that to me. I thought
So
they sold it by the
sweet.
bottle, but I guess that's how they package it.
Yeah.
Let's see.
I like their grilled buffalo chicken salad.
Oh,
It
there
is
you go.
truly the best.
I like it all. Love it all. Somebody just said they saw David Gregory's new political ad on TV yesterday as well. I saw it, and Dave looks amazing with his beautiful wife. He's and it's expensive. The ad, I mean, hundreds of thousands of dollars. By the way, David Gregory is leading right now in that Missouri State Senate race by all accounts. He's a former state rep, did a terrific job as well when he was the state rep at in Sunset Hills. So we appreciate all of our advertisers. Let us know, vic@canceltheshow.com. If anybody wants to sponsor the show or jump in as an advertiser. Our advertisers are grateful for the work that we try to do for them, and we're grateful for their support as well. This is canceltheshow.com. We got Pro Joe in the house, Megan, Marie Moret, Vic Faust, news headlines, water cooler talk, all the bizarre crazy that's happening in our country right now. We've been talking so much about Kamala. Where's Joe? All of these things are going on right now. Wanted to switch gears just a little bit first because I found this so freaking interesting. Elon Musk has come out, and Elon Musk is, and I appreciate him giving his perspective, but he did an interview with one of my favorite people on the planet, and this was yesterday, Dr. Jordan Peterson. Let me go here. Hold on a second. I just lost it. No, I had my information up there. Peterson with Dr. Jordan. Excuse me. I didn't bring my water in. Elon said yesterday that he was tricked into allowing one of his sons to undergo gender procedures. Mm-hmm. He said that his child was, quote, killed by the woke mind virus. And then that discussion streamed live on the Daily Wire, on X. I mean, they touched on a variety of subjects, but this is it for him to go public and talk about this very private thing, which is a big deal for any parent. And he labeled transgender surgeries, procedures for kids as evil. Mm-hmm. He even used the term and criticized the term gender affirming care, calling it terrible. He equaled it to child mutilation and sterilization. He called it evil. He said, you're taking kids who are far below the age of consent. It's very possible for adults to manipulate children who are having an actual identity crisis into believing that they somehow, by God's will, were created in the wrong gender. So you may know somebody who's dealing with this. All of us know somebody who's dealing, or a lot of us know people who are dealing with this or have dealt with it. But my gosh, for Elon Musk to come out this direct, it really opened my eyes. Mm-hmm. He said it happened to one of his older boys. Mm-hmm. And he said, I was essentially tricked into signing documents for one of my older boys, Xavier. This was really before I had any understanding of what was going on. And we had COVID going on. So there was a lot of confusion. Mm-hmm. And I was told that if I didn't allow Xavier to do this, he might commit suicide. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's how hard that is. But the other thing that Elon Musk brings up about this is he says it's a lie from the start. Yes. Or it was a lie from the outset. That's actually Jordan Peterson saying it, stated that. He said that no reliable clinician ever believed that there was any evidence for this working. He says if there is a higher suicide rate, the reason is the underlying depression and anxiety and not because of the gender dysphoria. Mm-hmm. And then he goes on to say, every goddamn clinician knows that too. They're too cowardly to come out and say it. Yeah. And then Musk says it's incredibly evil.
Yes. I agree with him 100%. And the whole story is just heartbreaking because he is just one of so many parents that is going through this. The unfortunate part for Elon Musk, though, was that he was tricked into signing off, into allowing his son was 18 years old at the time. It was in 2022, I believe. And it was, still, I think his son was finding that he was maybe having some gender dysphoria issues during the COVID, and the people at school, tricked him into signing off on some, on starting some puberty blockers and things like that. And for people that don't know, the puberty blockers, most of the time is irreversible. So when you start doing these things for these young children, the chances of a boy becoming sterile are super high. That in itself is just heartbreaking, because what we're finding is that that has been a huge quote unquote transgender phenomenon. And one of my close friends, Dee, who has been on this show before, she's the first to say, she lived as a man for 6 years. She's the first to say that this is a phenomenon. And what he touched on the point, Jordan Peterson touched on, that this is just really truly a mental health issue, and it is. The underlying issues could be one of many, many things, and the gender dysphoria is just how it presents itself. And so all of these people just jumping on this bandwagon, and now Gavin Newsom in California signing off saying that children do not have to disclose to
Oh
their
my God,
parents.
I saw that. Did that happen last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, so that was just a couple weeks ago, and that was Elon first. He now has come out with the rest of his story, but the initial part for wanting to leave California was, business, and because he could not take the wokeness anymore. And that was after Newsom signed off and said that, hey, basically, the schools, we are allowed to keep secrets. We are allowed to keep secrets from parents. So if your young child comes to school and says that they want to identify as the opposite sex, they want to be called a different name, they want to be treated differently, they want to use a different restroom, they want to go into different locker rooms, on, that California has that right to not disclose to the parents. And that was one of the things Elon's like, hey, I've been through this. I've seen what can happen. And so, his child went through some, the puberty blockers, and is now living as Vivian. And, she changed her last name to her mother's name because, they don't have a relationship anymore. And, that is sad. And, there's all kinds of different stories that you'll hear, just worldwide about how parents, deal with this. I mean, it's a big deal. But again, I think that the underlying issues need to be addressed. And the last thing I'll say about this is that, when people are talking about, gender affirming, and some other, big buzzwords has been, the fluidity, and, non-binary and binary. And basically what this community is saying is that gender does not affirm who you are, right? You can be a boy and be a girl one day, and vice versa. So if it doesn't affirm who you are, if your birth sex does not affirm who you are, then why do you need to mutilate yourself to affirm who you are? That's where I get tripped up. So if it really doesn't affirm who you are, then why do you need to have your reproductive organs and your body mutilated and removing and adding different body parts to then affirm who you are? So which one is it? Does your body parts affirm who you are, or does it not? And I think that has to be the real question that people have got to start getting into. And again, the only person that will affirm a lie is Satan. That's, I firmly believe that in my heart. No person that lives in faith is going to affirm a lie to someone that they love. They're not going to do it. You're not going to be a heroin addict and have your mother or father say to you to make you feel good so that you don't overdose yourself at the end of the day. You know what? Actually, this is good. You know what? And in fact, I'm going to go ahead and purchase it for you, and I'm going to supply it for you. You know, until the end of your days. I'm good. You know, I'm good with this. You being a heroin addict is a great and positive thing. Who does that?
No.
And it's the same thing.
Elon also added to Megan, I was tricked into doing this. It wasn't explained to me that puberty blockers are actually just sterilization drugs. I lost my son essentially. They call it dead naming for a reason. The reason they call it dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. Once again, he calls it the woke mind virus. And it's not just the woke mind virus when it comes to gender care for kids, as he's talked about. The woke mind virus goes over into a lot of areas of life where you continue to make excuses for everything. Just make an excuse, instead of trying to hold people responsible, hold people accountable for what is happening. He's very against the woke culture. But I do believe that Elon Musk talking about this issue is big. I do, because he has so much popularity, and he's not just saying it as somebody who hasn't gone through the process. He has gone through the process. He has lived it. And guess what? He lives with that pain every single day that he sees his son, who I guess was, as he said, castrated or had his had a surgery that was taken away.
Yeah, he physically changed himself in order to be, the opposite sex. And again, I think that the hardest part for him to understand is how he got tricked into doing this. And he feels terrible for it. And again, we've talked about COVID too, and how mental health just went down the tubes. You have depression, isolation, no human contact. There are so many things that went on with not just children, but adults too. And so that's when all of a sudden you are in a place of desperation, and you are looking for acceptance, maybe to be a little bit different, maybe to be unique. But instead of doing it in healthy ways, you see the phenomenon that's happening. You see what's going on in culture. You see how it is just the cool thing. Somebody made it cool to want to be someone that you're not, and to want to live as someone that you're not. And that brings a whole load of other expectations and pressure. I mean, the pressure, can you imagine, to me waking up tomorrow and being like, okay, I've decided, like, I'm going to be Mike, tomorrow, the pressure that I would have on me to do that. And then when, my feelings changed and I'm starting to see the light, how I would then go back. It's got to be, it's a lot. It really is.
Europe's changing course a lot. That from the chat line as well on a lot of these issues. Also, when you look at this now, here's Elon talking about it. I mean, we talk about what he said, but just listen to his voice and the inflection and the emotion.
Son, essentially. The reason it's called dead naming is because your son is dead. So my son Xavier is dead, killed by the woke mind virus. So I vowed to destroy the woke mind virus after that. Lost my son, essentially. The reason it's called dead naming.
So you hear Elon, part of that interview, going public is, as much as we hear, everybody deals with something. I mean, Elon has more money, knows what to do with, but, he's dealing with something. All of us know people have tons of money, and they can provide anything and everything from a financial standpoint, make life easy. But at the end of the day, everybody's dealing with something. Yeah. And Elon's dealing with that. And that's something that he'll always have to remember too. And that's also something to think about when it comes to the election, not only from a local standpoint, state standpoint, but a national standpoint.
Yeah. Well, and again, him making the move to move, I mean, these are not small businesses, as we all know. For him to move his businesses outside of California into Texas, I mean, that just goes to show how backwards California is right now. Because, that's not going to be cheap to move You know, all
No.
of that to Texas.
No. It's not.
I mean, and there's more and more people that are waking up and are like, I got to get out of here. I mean, who knows what they're going to be telling my kids at school or doing at school? And it's not just in California that's happening. I mean, it's happening in many, many places, unfortunately. But, you know, we're going to start hearing of these bigger names that are getting fed up and are wanting to leave.
Just coming down a couple of minutes ago, Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle has resigned.
Nice.
This should have probably happened already, but it did. And this was basically, this was going to happen. It had to happen. You know, she's resigned. That according to several news sources. We see it all right now. That's just the first deal. Okay, so she resigned. Thank God. But you also have Josh Hawley tweeting on this just a few seconds ago, saying now it's Mayorkas's turn.
Oh gosh.
Mayorkas needs to resign because guess what? This is just the beginning. You don't just have an event where all indications are that it wasn't an accident. And you have more problems proving that this was an accident than you do that somebody intentionally did something to allow shots to be fired at the former president of the United States. And with this coming out, now you have House Speaker Mike Johnson. Who knows? Who could be VP pretty soon when we find out what's going on with Joe Biden. Where's Joe Biden? And then Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries have announced a bipartisan task force to investigate the Trump assassination attempt. Do you think? Yeah. Okay. I know it just happened. I'm glad that that's happening. But you also have now, let's hope that they're going to work out. The heads of the Secret Service, even though they have now just quit, but the FBI and Homeland Security to this point in time have all declined to testify in the House on the shooting and the assassination of Donald Trump. That tells you all you need to know, which is why Josh Hawley is saying, even at this point in time, Mayorkas needs to go. He's not going to, but this woman who showed no remorse, had no answers yesterday, has now resigned. So somebody gave her the marching orders because it was bad yesterday. So who's next? Is it Mayorkas? What happens in the final few months of this presidency? As we know, the worst one we have ever seen in this country. Never have we seen anything like this.
Yeah.
We continue to have this crazy news day after day.
Yeah, Mayorkas, that man is so stubborn and so delusional that there's no way that.
But
he
if
would
you don't
step
have checks
down.
and balances, you don't have to.
Well,
He doesn't have a boss.
No, none of them do. Nobody on the left has checks and balances at all. They don't exist. And so there. I mean, if he doesn't resign now, he never will, because there has been so many times in the last 2 years in particular that he should have stepped down. You know, just him denying people, you know, the Secret Service protection. I mean, it just, the budget that they have annually is incredible. It's
of course it is.
You know, and so over $3 billion, you know, a year. And so for him to deny people protection is absurd in itself. Meanwhile, he's letting in terrorists day after day after day into our country, and they're literally just walking in. So I don't understand his thought process behind anything, but that would be an amazing day for me in particular if Mayorkas stepped down.
It's not going to happen.
No,
and because
I
there
agree.
is no, when you don't have a deterrent, you're going to continue to do what you've been doing. And that's what I was trying to go through now, looking at all the information that was starting to come out right now. So that's the first thing, that Kimberly Cheadle had to resign, or she had to leave her post. So
yeah. And, you know, I don't know if anybody watched the whole thing yesterday, but it was super interesting. I mean, it was no holds bar. I mean, they, both sides. Oh my gosh. And I can't even believe.
Yeah, that was awesome.
It was awesome.
It was awesome to see unity.
For once. And I mean, I cannot even believe that I say this, but I will remember yesterday probably forever, because something amazing happened. And it was that AOC actually made sense. For the first time ever, I couldn't even believe it. I'm like, okay, wait, okay, what's the catch? What's she gonna say next? You know, I was waiting for the mic drop, like, you know, because she did. What
did she say?
There were actually,
Or what was her point?
Her point was really good, and she was the only one who brought this up. And what she was talking about was this. She asked Kimberly Cheadle, "Do you know the range? How far, an assault weapon of this caliber can reach? Do you know how many yards?" Well, she didn't, and she's like, "Well, I will tell you. It's between 400 and 500 yards." So, with the AR-15 being the most popular weapon of choice for crazy people to use, mass shootings, school shootings, church shootings, what have you. So with that being the most popular gun to hurt people, why would you not have had snipers in the perimeter from 400 to 500 yards everywhere, considering that's what was going to be used? So, you know what I mean? And so it was a great point that she made, and she couldn't answer it.
Okay. People were freaked out that AOC actually sounded.
Yes. I was like,
this is 2 days in a row, because yesterday AOC was talking about how there are people within the Democratic Party who don't want Kamala Harris on the ticket.
Right.
And she said people at the highest level that don't want Kamala Harris on the ticket. So obviously AOC might be seeing some things. Who knows?
Well, who knows? I mean, I think that she is very, very juvenile. I think that she's super immature. I'm not sure how she keeps getting voted back in, but she does. But yeah, yesterday she actually made sense. And there were a few Democrats that just they took the opportunity. They took their, 5 minutes to talk nothing about what was really relevant. And they chose to talk about gun control, taking, banning guns and doing, things of that nature. So, who knows what, what her thought was behind it, but she didn't even bring up gun control, either, which I thought was great, because I think probably people paid attention to her for once and actually listened to what she had to say. But I think it was shameful. There was a part of me that felt bad for Kimberly Cheadle, because they just went in on her.
And they should have.
They should have, though. And she had time to prepare. She really did. And when you come to a meeting of that stature, you need to come with something. You've got to come with something. She literally had nothing.
Because she was told not to.
Exactly.
She's not an idiot. She's not stupid. She got to her position because she was smart. I don't care. Yeah, she could have been DEI, whatever. At the end of the day, she knows.
Yeah.
And she was told you can't tell, because she knows it goes higher than that. It was only a matter of time before she lost that. Now, once again, it's one thing to get her and she's gone. This can't ever happen again. This goes much deeper than her. She was the figurehead. You took the figurehead down. Now you start to find out where these decisions were made. And I always go back to Dan Bongino, as we showed in last week, where he said his sources were saying somebody who was unimpeachable was responsible for allowing that incident to happen. And that's a big statement.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody who is unimpeachable at that point in time allowed it to happen. And of course, it makes our minds go and think, and what are we going to do here, there, everywhere? Yeah, so she's gone right now. Okay, so she leaves. Now what happens? Where does their investigation go?
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to talk?
Well, she made it sound like yesterday that the FBI had all of the answers. Anytime they asked her a question, she deferred to the FBI. It's still an ongoing investigation. I can't speak on that. So basically, the entire thing has been handed over to the FBI, which is a little scary in itself.
Well, hell yeah, it is, when we see what we've gotten from the top levels of the FBI.
Exactly. So, who knows what's going to happen. And she couldn't even make a distinction between someone that was a threat and someone that was suspicious. And, a kindergartner could have followed along with what she was saying. She's like, well, it's different if you're suspicious. Well, if you're suspicious and you are anywhere near, a former president, a president, or anybody that needs that type of security, well, then you need to be, until you are found not suspicious, you need to be treated as a threat. And so that part just made absolutely no sense. And she could not answer for why everyone else there saw this kid.
She should be facing prison time. And I know that may sound drastic.
Mm-hmm. Well, someone.
All Trump did is turn his head. That's the only reason he is breathing today.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, you're talking about a death on your hands, on your watch. And it certainly looks like it was important, which is why this has to be investigated seriously, not just because he lived. What would have happened? Where would we be today?
Well,
this was allowed, and we've continued to bring you that information every day.
Yeah, and it was obvious that the sniper had its sights on him, because as soon as he, fired off, they were able to, to fire back with one shot and take him out. So it's not like it took a minute for them to, to figure out where it was coming from. I mean, they obviously had their sights set on him. So why they didn't do something before, I hope it doesn't remain a mystery, but as of right now, it's just really super incompetent and fishy. The whole thing is just absolutely fishy, and we still don't even know, how he got on top of the building. But apparently the guy's just rolling around, riding bikes. He's got, some duffel bag that he's cruising around with an AR-15 in it. No big deal, and to watch him in that one video where he's walking around, just looking around, looking up at the building where all these people are at. I mean, that is just dumbfounding to me.
Did you guys see the video that I sent you of them doing basically a test of the exact weapon used, the site used, everything? Like it was a recreation, and how this guy was lucky to even hit his ear.
Yes, the one where it was that guy, and then he had his guys all helping him out. Yes, it's just unbelievable to me, and that's what I mean. Like, truly, truly, God is on his side. I mean, there's just no other way to look at it. I mean, truly.
I don't want my mind to go on all of this, but there is absolutely no doubt, higher ups knew what was going to happen that day.
There had to have been. Someone did.
This kid, a 20-year-old, no friends, 2 phones. The gun was planted the day before. Somehow the search teams missed it. He's allowed to get up there. They have a minute to 2 minutes. They didn't do anything. Where was the information coming from? If it wasn't Kimberly Cheadle, was it coming from Mayorkas? Or was it coming from the big guy allowing this to happen? And then all of a sudden, who disappeared after that?
Right. Well,
Joe Biden disappeared right after this. He did. This was on a Saturday. He had a week. He's basically been gone since then. He did a couple talks and then he was gone.
Yeah. He said what he needed to say to save face, the whole unity, bull crud that he, tried slinging to everybody. And now he's gone.
Glenn, I did not even see this. Thank you. It's why we love our people's platform. Jump in all the time. You can watch us on X, on YouTube, on Rumble, on Facebook as well. We also go to the audio platforms, all the audio platforms as soon as the show ends. Glenn said that BlackRock shorted Trump stocks the day before. I repeat, BlackRock shorted Trump stocks on Friday, the day before the assassination attempt. I mean, come on.
Yeah. And if BlackRock...
By chance?
Right.
No freaking, no way. No way.
And two, if they were innocent and they didn't play any part in this whole thing, why did they pull the commercial that they had Thomas Crooks in? They pulled that commercial. It is gone. Unless you downloaded it, you cannot find it anymore. So, and two, now that, like the gentleman that was on Tucker Carlson yesterday, he was saying too, they're not, mainstream media isn't talking about all of the messages that this kid left, on all of these different social media accounts. He left
They never do with mass shooters. Have you noticed that? They never show the motive or the suicide letter or anything.
Yep.
You don't hear anything about the people because they're all people who have been screwed by the school system.
That's right.
That's why it's schools that are being targeted.
Well, and they don't want people to know that it's not the gun that is doing the actual, killing. Nobody's mentally ill. It's the gun that got out, jumped in the person's hand, and killed the people. It had nothing to do with the fact that they were, transgender or abused or anything like that.
Mentally ill of some type.
Exactly. They don't want anybody to know that. And that's unfortunate, because we can actually learn a lot from these people and what their motives are and how they get to this point. I mean, that's going to solve half the problem.
Okay.
So,
how did they identify him within 24 hours from DNA? The killer, because normally that doesn't happen within 24 hours.
oh gosh, I actually read that, and
There's probably a new way to test DNA to where it's quicker, maybe.
Well, Donna says she can almost bet that something's going to come out with the investigation, with the assassin, that there is something much deeper. There's no doubt about that. Of course there is. He just didn't show up. Oh yeah, I'm just a 20-year-old kid. I don't like Trump. I'm going to shoot him today. Yeah. And get access to a roof and a gun that was planted. And I'm going to plant it the day before. And I'm going to be given all the time I need to get shots off. Yeah. No, not going to happen. And what started the conversation from that standpoint is the Secret Service director. She finally stepped down after just a monumental flop failure yesterday, speaking before Congress about what happened, where she had no answers. Zero. She showed up with no freaking answers.
Yeah. Yeah. And, last night I was watching Gutfeld, and Tyrus made a great point. He's like, when we're hiring people for certain things, there are just qualifications that you have to qualify for. You're not going to be, a defensive lineman for the NFL at 5'1" and, $160. It's just not going to happen. I mean, why? Because that's not what the position calls for. You need to be big. You need to be able to stop people that are coming at you. And so, the point that he was making was, yes, of course, I'm sure that Trump has a great relationship with these people. But, if they're supposed to protect him and they're not even covering him, and then he kept showing the pictures, and they are iconic pictures and they are amazing, and they'll be, forever in history. But, these people, most of the people that were protecting him were shorter than him, which left, his head exposed. They weren't really covering him. And so that goes back to the whole point where all these people are going back to Cheadle and saying, hey, we heard that you said that you wanted 33% of the Secret Service employees to be women. So does everybody have to meet the same qualifications, or is it different? So are you going to make it different for women, for men? Like, what is it? And, of course, I love that, that things should be equal for women. And, I'm not like a super feminist or anything like that, but I wouldn't want to protect a man that was 6'4" and, inching on 300 pounds. That wouldn't be where my, where I would be the best well fitted. Come on.
What another great point from Jay from the chat line. Any information that might make the left look bad will never be released. Just like the Nashville shooters manifesto has still never been released.
Yeah.
The common thread always seems to be a loner, unpopular geek, whatever you want to call it, that gets involved in something like this.
Yep.
Yeah. My gosh, that's insane.
It is.
These are all, it's one of those things that it's so bizarre to think and sickening that this happened to the president or the former president, maybe soon president. And the only reason he's alive is because he turned his head. And the Secret Service director finally steps down from where we are. And it's a battle. It's not one of these things that's going to be nice and sweet. Oh, let's sit down. And how many people do you know that are hardcore Democrats that are going to be happy?
Right.
That if Donald Trump wins? And how many of you Republicans or conservatives are going to be happy or believe that it was fair if a person like Kamala Harris wins?
Oh my gosh.
Seriously, think about that. That's why.
I can't even think about
that's
that.
why. Seriously, that's why we're divided from the standpoint that we are.
If they really, they cannot think that Kamala is going to get more votes in November than Joe Biden would have, even in his condition. I don't think that. I don't. There's just no way. I mean, she has been a laughingstock, since day one. I mean, it's like, okay, well, just if she's been doing stuff behind the scenes, that would be a whole nother situation. But she hasn't been. I mean, Nancy Pelosi even says it. And how in the heck is Nancy Pelosi? How is this 84-year-old woman? How is it that she is still running the show?
Because they have secrets. I don't know if she's running the show, but
my
she's a part of it because
gosh.
it's called having power over people. When you have information, you have power over people. And that's how DC runs.
I mean, you just look at her. She's another one that when she shows up to talk, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe that she held rank for as long as she did.
Oh, no doubt.
And she literally, it's like everybody's waiting for Nancy Pelosi. I'm like, well, what are we waiting for Nancy Pelosi for? What, like, she's the one that sets the tone for everything. I do not understand that.
Well, there's just so much division. And I wanted to show this too from today. Keith Olbermann he's a hardcore left former ESPN anchor, MSNBC host, just not a very kind man, very just comes up with just some evil things, what he says. And this one, he went after the St. Louis Cardinals of all people. Check this out. Alec Burleson is a St. Louis Cardinal, and he hit a home run and he was running around the bases. Well, when he was running around the bases, as we'll show you, he did something with his ear, and we're going to show it to you now and watch what he does. Cardinals all holding their ear and giving him that shot. Okay, you see what that's going on. No big deal, right? Well, Keith Olbermann decided to say that he was paying tribute to Donald Trump because Donald Trump, obviously, as we know, was shot in his ear. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Keith Olbermann says that since he was doing this and paying tribute, it led to speculation that he was, paying tribute to Trump. Well, Matt Carpenter, a veteran, came out and talked to me. He said he denied it, that it was a tribute to Trump, telling the media that it was definitely not a political comment, that it goes back to his college days. Who cares if it was for Donald Trump or not?
Right.
Why would it even matter?
Why would it matter?
This dumbass Olbermann tweeted out, ban these guys from baseball for life.
Oh,
confiscate the Cardinals franchise and implode the stadium. Obviously, he's trying to be funny and stupid. He called them Trump Nazis, and they should stick to sports. America has had enough of this shit. Just assuming that it was a tribute to Donald Trump, and it had nothing to do with Donald Trump. It was something that Alec Burleson did back in his college days.
I'm sorry, but I hope that doesn't catch on, the whole ear and the fist up in the air thing, because it does look pretty Nazi-ish.
Yeah.
What's that?
Oh,
yeah.
the
whole this, like this looks very.
Yeah. I know.
But he was doing it to the players on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, I get that. But what I'm saying is just that whole gesture.
Can I see it? Can I see it again?
Sure.
I would love to see that. Just to.
It's really.
Yeah, but Kimberly says, but it's okay for people to kneel and be anti-American.
Well, that's what I was just thinking. I mean, did he call Colin Kaepernick out when he started that whole thing?
Well, it's just serious. Like this is just the way that looks is very similar. It's the kneeling was not similar to the.
I guess
Heil.
you see what you see. I don't see it. I mean, we all see what we see.
It's got kind of a Heil-esque.
I do. I totally see what you're saying, and it's unfortunate that's how people will see that because it means.
Oh, that's how they're going to spin it.
Yeah,
but looking like and actually being two different things.
Well, remember too, I thought that they were going to crucify him for saying fight, fight, fight. I thought that, here we go, insurrection time.
Yep.
Here,
I thought so too.
I really did, and I think that once they, figured out that people really loved that he said that.
Yeah, but that gesture has been around since the beginning of sports.
Well, that's been around. That's supposed to be like the Black Power symbol.
I was just going to say the Panthers.
Well, no, that's straight up. They did that.
Well, the fist in the air.
North Korea does it when they go by.
But he's not going straight up in the air side. And I don't know. I've done stuff like that when I was playing sports too. It's ridiculous that some of these, that it was put out there by a guy like Keith Olbermann as if it's something bad to do. First of all, that it was an ode to Trump and that would be bad. Who cares if somebody wants to promote what?
And are they seriously at the bottom of their barrel that they have to start throwing around the Nazi word? I mean, this whole Hitler, Nazi. Yeah, but they've been saying that they've been calling Trump, a Nazi for the last year. And who's the one that's standing by Israel? Donald Trump.
Yeah, that makes sense, doesn't it?
I mean, they don't even think to dig a little bit deeper into what they're saying and how ridiculous and so backwards it sounds. I mean, and again, that just brings me back to the Democrats that, choose to throw this word around, the Nazi, this, that. Well, your leader, the current leader of our country right now has literally left Israel.
Yeah,
I mean, they can say that
can
say that, no, we're trying to work these deals and we're trying to do this and we're trying to be fair on both sides or whatever. That's not what you said for the months after the attack, that people need to remember that attack happened. And Hamas is the one who started it, and Hamas is still the one that has hostages. And why do we not still continue to talk about hostages? Why isn't Biden and, Kamala, for that matter, now that she's so great, why aren't they demanding that we get the hostages back?
What a great point. And I'm glad that you brought that up. We
forget about that. So, and that's what I mean, how everything all of a sudden they put the spotlight and they do all of these distractions to all of these different things that they come up with to take, the spotlight off of everything else. And there's so many things that we have to remember. And I hope that the American people remember this coming up to the election, is make sure that you go in your playbook and go back and revisit all of the horrible things that have happened.
Well, we appreciate you guys joining us today for cancelthisshow.com here Monday through Friday. Appreciate you coming in today, Megan and Pro Joe, as always. Continue to follow everything that's going on. Every day there's something new. We'll see where all this is. We'll see what happens with the investigation now into the Trump assassination attempt. Thank God there is now a bipartisan committee that's going to take a look at this in the House and get as much information as possible. Where's Joe Biden? I don't think he's shown up during this. We can't go another day without seeing or hearing from Joe Biden, can we?
Now, I mean, I don't even know. Now I'm feeling a little lost without him, because he's been, he's been out every day.
What are we going to do to fill the time?
For the last couple months. It's like, here we go again. Here's Joe doing another presser.
Here we go again. Yeah. And babe, what you were saying too, the journalist in Russia needs to be freed as well. Just sentenced for 20 years. Who's done nothing.
Oh, isn't that horrible?
Yeah.
Horrible.
So great show, guys. We appreciate everybody who supports us. We just continue to keep on. Always try to be kind, and we're grateful for everybody supporting the show. So with that, we'll say have an awesome day. That does it for the fastest 2 hours in podcasting. Cancel this. We'll catch up with you guys tomorrow.